The Galactic Academy stood like a giant metal mountain at the center of the training world known as Varellus. 4. From orbit, the Academy looked calm and peaceful, but inside its walls, thousands of young cadets came every year to learn how to survive dangerous situations across the galaxy. Every species sent their brightest students here. And this year, for the first time, the Academy allowed humans to join their programs. In Classroom Hall 7B, the air buzzed with quiet tension. Rows of alien cadets sat at their desks, waiting for their instructor. Some had scaled skin, others had soft fur, and some had no visible faces at all. Their bodies came in different shapes, sizes, and colors, but today every one of them felt the same emotion: nervousness. They were about to take their first real test, Hostile Scenario Response Exam, Level 1. Most cadets whispered softly among themselves while they waited. "You think it will be difficult?" A small bird-like student asked his friend. "No," the friend replied confidently. "They always ask easy things in the first test. 3 solutions. That's all. Anyone can think of 3. Several students nodded. They had trained for months. They knew what to expect. But one seat in the middle of the room drew extra attention. A lone human student sat there, tapping his pen lightly on the desk. His name was Alex Ward, and this was his first month in the academy. Even though humans were new to the galaxy's training programs, Alex looked calm, almost too calm. He sat comfortably, leaning back like someone waiting for a movie to start, not a test. Some aliens glanced at him nervously. Others whispered theories. "I heard humans are unpredictable. My cousin says they think in strange ways. My uncle said humans solved a puzzle in half the time and broke the puzzle machine." No one knew if those stories were true, but everyone agreed on one thing. Humans were unusual. A loud electronic chime sounded. The classroom door slid open, and Instructor Varel entered. He was tall, with 4 arms and dark silver skin that shimmered like metal. His eyes glowed a dim blue, giving him a serious look even when he was calm. Every student straightened immediately. "Cadets," Instructor Varel said, his voice echoing through the room, "today is your first test. A simple test. You are required to write 3 solutions to a hostile scenario. Only 3. Nothing more." Most students exhaled in relief. 3 answers? Easy. But Instructor Varel continued. "Do not overthink the task. We are not testing the depth of your knowledge today, only your basic response style." A few cadets smiled. "Basic? Perfect." The instructor placed a small, glowing test tablet on every desk. When he reached Alex, he paused for a brief moment. Humans were still a mystery to him, no matter how many reports he read about them. He wondered what kind of answers a human would write. Probably something odd. Probably something he would have to correct. He moved on and stepped to the front of the room. "You will have 1 hour," he said. "Begin." A quiet hum filled the air as every test tablet activated. The room became silent. Pens clicked. Fingers tapped. The sound of steady writing began. Most cadets started with slow, careful handwriting. They wanted their answers to look neat and professional. Some even paused between sentences to think deeply before writing more. Instructor Varel nodded approvingly. Everything was going as expected until he looked toward the middle of the room. Alex Ward was already writing fast. Not normal fast. Human fast. The human's hand moved like it was racing against time. His face was calm, focused, but relaxed. He did not stop to think. He did not pause. His pen moved like it already knew what to write. Some aliens looked up and stared, confused. "Is he okay?" "He seems too fast." "Maybe humans write like that." No one writes like that." Alex turned a page. Then another. Then another. By the time most students had finished writing their first answer, Alex had filled almost 3 full pages. Instructor Varel blinked. That wasn't possible. He walked silently toward Alex, pretending to check on the nearby students, but really trying to see what the human was doing. When he finally reached the human's desk, he looked down at the top of the paper. His eyes froze. At the top of the page, Alex had written, "Total solutions, 30. The instructor almost dropped his datapad. 30? He whispered before catching himself. He cleared his throat and tried to remain calm. Cadet wore the instructions say 3. Alex didn't stop writing. Yes, sir, he said politely. I saw that. Then why? The instructor asked slowly. Are you writing 30 solutions? Alex shrugged lightly. I had more ideas. You only need 3. Yes, sir. Then why? 30? Alex stopped writing long enough to look up and say, in a perfectly normal voice, just in case. The instructor's face didn't move, but his mind exploded with confusion. Just in case? Just in case what? How could someone have 27 extra solutions for a simple training question? Instructor Varel stepped back slowly, unsure if he should be impressed, confused, or concerned. Around the classroom, whispers spread like a wave. The human wrote 30? Is that even allowed? Maybe humans don't understand numbers. No, he wrote it on purpose. 30. More students tried to sneak glances, curious and slightly scared. The exam was meant to be boring, predictable, routine. But thanks to one human, the simple test felt suddenly dangerous, not because of violence, but because of the unknown. Because no one had any idea what kinds of ideas a human would put on a list of 30 solutions. The hour passed quickly, and the instructor finally called out, "Time! Hands away from your tablets." Everyone obeyed. Alex calmly closed his 30-solution test, as if it were completely normal. And that was the moment the instructor realized something. This test would not be simple. Not anymore. Not with a human involved. And the real chaos would begin the moment Alex read solution number 4. Instructor Varel stood at the front of classroom 7B, holding a stack of test tablets like they were made of unstable energy. His hands did not shake. He was too experienced for that. But his mind definitely did. He stared at Alex Ward, the calm human sitting in the middle of the room, as if the boy had just rewritten the laws of common sense. 30 solutions. Not battle strategies. Not combat actions. Just hostile scenario solutions, written like someone listing weekend plans. The alien cadets sat in anxious silence, watching the instructor's every move. No one dared to speak. They all felt that something unusual was about to happen, something no one had prepared for. Instructor Varel gave a deep breath. "Very well," he said finally. "Let us review your answers." A few students exchanged nervous glances. Review every answer? All 30? Did they have enough time left in class? Would they even understand human logic? But Instructor Varel raised one hand for silence. "We will begin with the first 3, he said. "Only the first 3. These will show us the students' basic thinking." A quiet relief passed through the room. Only 3. They could handle that. Varel turned to Alex. "Cadet Ward," he said, "please stand and read your first 3 solutions aloud." Alex rose from his seat with the same relaxed, calm energy that he carried the entire test. He picked up his tablet, cleared his throat, and began reading in a clear voice. Solution 1. Remain calm and identify the source of the threat. The instructor nodded slowly. Good. Safe. Standard. Most alien students also nodded. This was the kind of answer the Academy expected from any beginner. Simple situational awareness. No chaos. No surprises. A student with orange fur whispered to his friend, "See? Humans can be normal." Instructor Varel ignored the whispers and gestured for Alex to continue. Alex read the second one. Solution 2. Communicate with the team. Share information and create a plan. Good again. Very responsible. Very logical. The sort of answer a model cadet would give. Some aliens even began to relax. A few sat back in their chairs. They had heard rumors about humans being unpredictable, but maybe those were exaggerated. Solution 3, Alex read. Find the safest exit path and guide others away from danger if possible. Instructor Varel gave an approving nod. Yes, he said. Correct. All 3 answers are effective and appropriate. A soft wave of agreement moved through the classroom. Students began whispering in relief. That's not so bad. I thought humans would say something weird. Maybe the 30 answers are just small variations. Maybe the human misunderstood the instructions. But Instructor Varel did not relax. The first 3 answers were normal, too normal. perfectly normal, almost suspiciously normal. It felt like the calm before a storm. He looked back at Alex. The human stood tall, waiting quietly, holding his tablet at his side. His expression did not show any excitement or nervousness. It was just patient, calm, ordinary. But the instructor felt uneasy, because somewhere behind those 3 normal answers were 27 more, and only one of them, just one, had been enough to create fear among the students, excitement among the curious, and trouble for him as the instructor. "Very good, Cadet Ward," Varel said carefully. "Your first 3 answers are acceptable. They follow standard protocol." Alex nodded politely. But the instructor continued, "Since your test contains more than 3 solutions, we will examine at least one additional answer." A ripple of tension shot across the entire room. At least one more? Was that safe? A small reptilian cadet raised a shaky hand. "Sir, is that required?" "The instructions say 3. The human provided 30. Varel said, "We must understand his thought process." A low hum of nervous chatter filled the room again. 30 ideas. What kind of mind needed 30? Instructor Varel raised his voice slightly. "Cadet Ward, please read solution number 4. And just like that, the entire room froze. Every student stopped breathing for a second. The store of the first 3 answers had been calm. Too calm, and that made the next part feel even more dangerous. Not physically dangerous, just unpredictable, like stepping into a dark room without knowing what was inside. Alex looked down at the tablet and scrolled to the 4th answer. He tilted his head slightly, as if he was remembering why he wrote this one. Then he smiled a tiny, harmless smile. That smile alone made 3 alien cadets flinch. Alex cleared his throat. Solution 4. Every student leaned forward. Create a distraction so the threat focuses on something harmless instead of the team. The room went completely silent. Not because the answer was harmful, not because it was scary, but because no alien had ever thought about dealing with a hostile scenario in such a sideways, flexible way. Instructor Varel's eyes widened slightly. "A distraction?" he repeated. "Yes, sir," Alex said. "Something harmless. Something that draws attention away." Varel stared at him. "For what purpose?" "To change the situation," Alex said simply. "If the threat is looking one way, the team can move the other way." A few students whispered rapidly. "That's strange. That's not how we train." But it could work. It could work very well. Instructor Varel felt a sudden discomfort. Not fear, not danger. Just the uncomfortable feeling of realizing his training did not cover this kind of thinking. He folded his arms. "And what," he asked slowly, "would you use as a distraction?" Alex thought for a moment. "Anything safe," he said. "Light, sound, movement, or something interesting enough that the threat stops paying attention to the team." He paused. Humans are good at making distractions. The whole class stared at him like he had just revealed a secret human superpower. Instructor Varel did not know what to say. He had asked for something simple. He had expected something boring. He had received something human, something flexible, creative, unpredictable. And this was only solution number 4. He cleared his throat again. "Well then," he said, trying to stay calm, "class, please prepare yourselves, because if solution number 4 is this unexpected." He looked at Alex's tablet. "I fear what number 5 will be." The room buzzed with nervous electricity. The first 3 answers were normal. The 4th changed everything. And the rest? No one knew. That suspense, the heavy waiting silence, filled the entire academy hall. And every student sat there thinking the same thing. This human thinks differently. And the real chaos has only just begun. The classroom felt different now. Not physically. Nothing had moved. But something in the air had changed after Alex read solution number 4. It was like a quiet storm had entered the room. A storm made of confusion, curiosity, and a tiny bit of fear. The alien cadets were no longer sitting casually. Some leaned forward with wide eyes. Some sat stiff and straight, as if they were facing a final exam instead of classroom exercise. Others had slowly lowered their pens, as if writing anything after hearing a human-style idea felt pointless. Even Instructor Varel seemed unsettled. He kept glancing at Alex's tablet, as if the device might suddenly jump off the desk and attack him. He had taught in the academy for 20 years, seen hundreds of tests, reviewed thousands of answers, but he had never seen anything like this. One human, one simple test. For answers, and already the room felt changed. Varel took a deep breath to steady himself. "We will continue," he said in a voice that tried and failed. To sound calm, "We must understand how humans think." The moment he said that, several alien cadets gulped. Understand humans? Was that even possible? Alex stood quietly, waiting. His calmness only made everyone else more nervous. He didn't smile. He didn't show pride. He didn't look excited. He looked normal, as if giving 30 solutions was something any person would do. Instructor Varel finally forced his voice to work again. "Cadet Ward," he said, "explain why you listed distraction as a solution." Alex nodded politely. "In a hostile scenario, sometimes direct action is not the best first step," he said. "A distraction lets the team control the situation without force, and it gives time to think." The simplicity of the explanation made the alien students stare in disbelief. Time to think? Control without force? Creative misdirection? It was like Alex was speaking a different language, one made of sideways ideas instead of straight lines. A student with smooth green skin slowly raised her hand. "Human, why do you think like that?" Alex blinked. "Think like what?" "That," she said, waving her hands. "Sideways. Bending the rules. Making strange ideas." The whole class turned their eyes to Alex. Alex shrugged. "Humans are used to problems that change quickly," he said. "So we try many ideas. If one doesn't work, maybe another will." Instructor Varel muttered, 30 ideas." The classroom fell quiet again. But this time, the silence wasn't empty. It was full of tension, like a room holding its breath. The instructor stepped closer, folding 2 of his forearms behind his back. The other 2 held Alex's tablet carefully, as if it might explode from too much imagination. "Very well," he said. "We will now explore more of your list." The students gasped quietly. More? They weren't ready. A scale cadet whispered to her desk partner. "What if the next idea is even stranger?" Her friend whispered back. "I don't want to know, but I also want to know." Instructor Varel raised a tablet. "We will examine solution number 5. Alex nodded and prepared to read. But before he could, 3 students suddenly spoke at the same time. "Sir, please don't. Maybe we should skip ahead. What if solution 5 is too dangerous?" Varel held up his hand. "Enough. Cadets, this is a classroom. We will proceed." But his voice had a tiny shake at the end, and everyone noticed. Alex waited patiently, tablet ready. Varel swallowed. "Cadet," he said softly, "before reading, answer one question." Alex lowered the tablet. "Yes, sir." "How did you create 30 solutions in 1 hour?" Most students struggled to write 3. Alex tilted his head slightly, thinking, "I didn't create them today," he said simply. "Most of them are already in my head." The entire class inhaled sharply. Already in his head? 30 solutions? Just sitting there? Instructor Varel felt his knees weaken slightly. He had expected creativity. He had expected flexibility. But he had not expected a human brain to store a full list of unusual ideas as casually as someone storing lunch plans. Varel straightened his posture again. "Cadet Ward, please read solution number 5. Alex opened his mouth. But before he could speak, the classroom door slid open. Every head snapped toward the doorway. Standing there was Commander Threll, the Academy's chief tactical officer, a tall, sharp-looking alien with gold markings, known for having no time for nonsense. He looked around the room. Then his eyes stopped on Alex. "Instructor Varel," Commander Threll said, "I received your message." Varel froze. "Message? What message?" The commander stepped forward. "You asked for oversight because the human student produced an unusual number of solutions. The cadets all turned to look at their instructor. Varel's face slowly changed color. He had sent a message earlier, but only a short one, and he hadn't expected Commander to respond so fast. Or at all. Commander Thrill approached Alex with interest, not anger. "You," he said, "are the human who wrote 30 solutions." Alex nodded politely. "Yes, sir." "And you read solution number 4? "Yes, sir." Thrill folded 2 arms. "Very well," he said. "I will sit and listen. Continue reading." The classroom's tension doubled instantly. The commander was staying? To hear more? Did he even know what he was getting into? Instructor Varel swallowed and nodded slowly toward Alex. "Continue, Cadet Ward. Read solution number 5. Alex took a calm breath. He looked down at the tablet. The entire room leaned forward like one giant creature, holding a single breath. Alex opened his mouth, and just as he read the first word, the fire alarm suddenly began to ring. A loud, echoing sound. Red lights flashing. Doors locking. Students shouting in surprise. Instructor Varel's eyes widened. Commander Thrill stood up sharply, and Alex just blinked and said, "That was not part of the test." Chaos, real chaos, had finally arrived, and it had perfect timing. The fire alarm echoed through classroom 7B, filling the air with a deep, pulsing sound. Red lights flashed across the walls, casting long shadows on the desks. The alien cadets jumped out of their seats in panic. Some covered their heads, others ducked under tables, and a few spun in circles trying to remember evacuation rules they had never actually practiced. "Remain calm," Instructor Varel shouted, but his own voice cracked on the last word. Commander Thrill immediately moved toward the door. "It's a false alert," he said firmly. "The Academy security system confirms no active threat." "But the alarm," a student cried. "It is triggered by something unusual happening in a classroom," Thrill replied. "Sometimes by a power surge. Sometimes by a mistake. Sometimes by unexpected patterns." His eyes shifted to Alex. A few students looked at the human, as if he had summoned the alarm with his brain. Alex raised both hands. "I didn't do anything. I was just about to read solution 5. That," Thrill said, "might have been the problem." Instructor Varel stared at him. "Commander, are you saying the security system reacted to the human's ideas?" Thrill didn't answer directly. Instead, he walked to the wall panel and switched the alarm off. The red lights went dark. The ringing stopped, replaced by a heavy silence that seemed even louder than the alarm. After a long moment, the commander turned to Alex. "Continue," he said. "Read solution 5. The students groaned quietly. The alarm had scared them, but the idea of hearing another human-style solution, that scared them more. Alex nodded. He cleared his throat. "Solution 5. Change the environment in small, safe ways to make the threat less confident." The room blinked. "What does that mean?" a student whispered. Alex explained calmly. "If you dim lights, shift shadows, or create small noises, the threat becomes unsure. Uncertainty gives a team an advantage." Commander Thrill raised an eyebrow. "Humans use uncertainty as a tool?" Alex shrugged. "Sometimes." Instructor Varel rubbed his forehead. He was beginning to understand something important. Humans didn't think in straight lines. They didn't follow predictable steps. They created tiny zigzags in every idea. This was going to be a long class. "Cadet Ward," Varel said, "you may continue." Alex scrolled down the tablet. "Solution 6. Move in a pattern the threat won't expect." "What kind of pattern?" a nervous cadet asked. "Any pattern," Alex said. "Random works well." Several aliens flinched. "Random movement?" Humans were terrifying. Alex continued reading. "Solution 7. Use teamwork, but in flexible ways." Switch roles fast. "Solution 8. Create a fake plan. Let the threat see it, then do something different." Solution 9. Use the environment. Floors, walls, furniture, anything. Solution 10. Stay unpredictable. Unpredictable. The word hit the class like a meteor. It was a core difference between humans and almost every other species. The aliens trained to follow rules. They trained to follow steps. They train to follow logic. But humans? Humans train to adapt. By the time Alex finished reading Solution 10, half the class looked exhausted. Their brains worked overtime just trying to understand how the human mind jumped so quickly between ideas. Instructor Varel tried to stay composed, but his 4 hands were pressed against his temple. "Cadet Ward," he said slowly, "how many more solutions rely on unpredictability?" Alex scrolled. "About half." The instructor made a soft sound that might have been a cry for help. Commander Threll, however, seemed fascinated. He folded his arms and leaned forward. "Continue." Alex nodded again. "Solution 11. Use humor to reduce fear." The aliens blinked. "Humor?" One whispered. "In danger?" Alex shrugged. "It helps humans think clearly." "Vorelside. It certainly would not help me." Alex continued. "Solution 12. Ask questions. It forces a threat to think." Solution 13. Give the threat a choice. People react differently when they have options. Solution 14. Delay the situation while preparing the team. Solution 15. Use a prize, small surprises, say surprises. At this point, several cadets were whispering among themselves. Does the human ever run out of ideas? No, that's the problem. What kind of species thinks like this? Commander Threll silenced them with a look. Alex kept reading. Solution 16. Change the angle of approach. Solution 17. Switch communication methods. Solution 18. Redirect attention. Solution 19. Use misdirection. Solution 20. Stay moving. Instructor Varel groaned softly. "How many rely on movement?" Alex checked. "Many." The instructor shut his eyes. He felt dizzy, but Alex didn't slow down. Solution 21. Think of the worst-case scenario, then prepare for better outcomes. Even Threll blinked at that one. "That is unusually optimistic," Threll said. Alex nodded. "Humans are strange that way." The class slowly nodded. "Yes, very strange." Alex read more. Solution 22. Look for allies. Solution 23. Make allies. Solution 24. Create a safe zone. Solution 25. Use tools around you. Solution 26. Break the problem into small steps. At this point, the aliens' brains were nearly melted, and Alex still had more. Solution 27. Change the goal if the goal is impossible. Instructor Varel whispered. "Change the goal." Alex nodded. "Yes, humans do that all the time." Threll muttered. "Too often." Alex continued. Solution 28. Try the unexpected thing last. Only last. Solution 29. Keep everyone calm. Solution 30. Learn something from the situation, always. When Alex finally finished, the classroom collapsed into stunned silence. No one moved. No one blinked. Even breathing sounded suspicious. 30 ideas. 30 different angles. 30 human-style solutions. Instructor Varel looked like he had aged 10 years. Commander Threll looked like he had just rewritten a training program in his head. And the students? They looked at Alex with a mix of fear, awe, admiration, and confusion. At last, Threll stood tall. "Cadet Ward," he said quietly, "you did not write a test." Alex blinked. "I didn't." "No," Threll said. "You wrote a manual." The room stayed silent. Then someone whispered, "Humans are unbelievable." For almost a full minute, no one in classroom 7 dared to move. 30 human-style solutions floated through their minds like electrical sparks bouncing inside a maze. Every cadet's face held the same mixed expression. Surprise, fear, curiosity, and something new they didn't fully understand yet. Respect. Alex shifted uncomfortably. He wasn't used to being stared at by 28 alien students and 2 high-ranking instructors. He tucked his tablet under his arm. Should I sit down now?" Alex asked quietly. Instructor Varel waved his 4 hands helplessly. "Yes, please. Sit. Or stand. Or do whatever humans do after listing too many ideas." Alex sat down. Varel swallowed hard and turned to the class. "Cadets, this is a historic moment. Today, we witness something that challenges the way the Galactic Academy views strategy. Commander Threll stepped forward, his expression serious but focused. It challenges the way we view humans. A ripple traveled across the room. One student raised a trembling hand. Commander, is it true that humans always think this way? Always with so many paths? So many possibilities. Threll glanced at Alex, then nodded. Not always, but often enough to consider it a defining pattern. Alex scratched the back of his head. I guess humans just like options. Options? Another student repeated, horrified. 30 options? That was only for one scenario. A small reptilian cadet squeaked. The class erupted into chatter. Do humans carry that many plans in their heads? How do their brains not explode? What if every human thinks like that? What if this is why the galaxy fears them? Alex winced. Hey, humans aren't scary. Every alien stared at him with an expression that clearly said, yes, you are. Commander Threll raised a hand to silence them. We will now analyze the human solutions. Instructor Varel nearly jumped. Analyze? Today? Commander will be here for... Yes, Threll interrupted. Today. Varel groaned softly, but obeyed. He turned to the whiteboard and drew a shaky line. Class, let's begin with the first unexpected pattern. He wrote, 1. Humans use chaos as a tool. The class gasped. One cadet whispered, chaos as a tool? That is unnatural. Alex raised his hand politely. Not chaos, exactly. Just flexibility. That is chaos, the cadet muttered. Varel continued writing. 2. Humans believe surprise is normal. 3. Humans reduce fear by talking. 4. Humans think while moving. 5. Humans change plans fast. More gasps. More whispers. Is that even allowed? Changing plans is against 3 academy rules. How do they learn like this? Alex tried to help. We don't try to learn this. It just happens. That didn't comfort anyone. Commander Threll stepped forward again. Cadets, I want you to understand something crucial. Humans do not replace logic. They add layers to it. He tapped the board. Many species follow one logical pathway. Humans follow several, switching when needed. But why? A cadet asked. Alex shrugged. Things go wrong a lot. Humans prepare for that. A few aliens nodded slowly. They understood that part. Things going wrong absolutely made sense. But having 30 ways to deal with it, that was almost frightening. Burrell sighed deeply. Let's examine the most dangerous idea in Cadet Ward's list. He circled. Solution 28. Try the unexpected thing last. Only last. The cadet stiffened. One whispered, what if the unexpected thing is extreme? Alex raised both hands. I said safe unexpected thing, not sci-fi movie stuff. Threll studied him carefully. Humans instinctively consider many paths, even those they never use. It makes their decisions difficult to predict. More nods. More fear. Varel pressed a hand to his forehead. Commander, I believe we should call an additional instructor. Perhaps 2. Possibly a medical team. No, Threll said calmly. This is good. They must expand their thinking. The instructor muttered something quietly about retiring early. Threll turned to Alex. Cadet Ward, please stand. Alex stood, feeling oddly nervous. Today, Threll said to the class, you all have witnessed a learning shockwave, something that will echo across your careers. Humans are different, not stronger, not smarter, just different in a way we must understand. He looked at Alex. You helped us today. Alex smiled awkwardly. Thanks, Commander. Then something unexpected happened. Commander Threll clasped his hands behind his back and addressed the class. Cadets, you will now perform an exercise. Several students groaned. New exercises meant stress. New human-inspired exercises meant double stress. Threll announced, you will create 5 solutions to the same scenario Cadet Ward wrote about. 5, not 30. 5. A collective sigh of relief filled the room. However, Threll continued, Each solution must follow a different angle, a different logic, a different path. Every cadet froze again. "This is impossible," one muttered. "It is not," Threll said. "It is difficult. There is a difference." Instructor Varel quickly handed out new tablets, still adjusting to the shock of today's lesson. "Begin," he said weakly. The classroom transformed into a quiet storm of thinking. One student tapped the screen nervously. Another chewed the end of a stylus. A third stared at Alex like he was trying to download the human brain directly. Alex sat calmly. For him, this was normal. For the rest of the room, this was a mental earthquake. Minutes passed. Some cadets started writing. Some crossed things out. Some rewrote their ideas 3 times. For the first time in their training, they were thinking in unfamiliar directions. Not straight lines. Not single answers. Not predictable steps. They were thinking more human. Commander Threll watched silently, pleased. Instructor Varel watched silently, terrified. Alex watched silently, curious. After 20 minutes, Threll spoke. "Time." The cadets lowered their tablets with slow, tired movements. They looked drained but strangely proud. "Now," Threll said, "share your solutions." A small amphibian cadet raised her hand. "I made 5 plans, and they are all different. Not good, but different." Threll nodded. "That is the point." Another raised his hand. "I used misdirection for the first time. It felt like cheating." Alex grinned. "It's not cheating. It's strategy." A reptilian cadet whispered, "Thinking like a human is exhausting." Alex nodded. "Yeah, it kind of is." Commander Threll stepped forward. Class dismissed. The cadets weakly stood and shuffled toward the door, whispering to each other in amazement. But before Alex could leave, Threll called out, "Cadet Ward." Alex turned. "This lesson is not over," Threll said. "Not even close. Tomorrow we begin the real test." Alex gulped. Alex stood frozen for a moment, unsure if he heard Commander Threll correctly. The other cadets had already shuffled out classroom, some whispering, some rubbing their temples as if their brains ached from too much thinking. The lights dimmed slightly as the Academy's automated systems recognized the end of class. "The real test," Alex finally asked. Commander Threll gestured for him to follow. "Yes, today you surprise the classroom. Tomorrow you may need to surprise the galaxy." Alex followed him into the hallway. The lights changed from classroom white to corridor blue. Alien cadets passed by, still shooting Alex secret glances. Some looked inspired. Others looked worried. A few seemed like they might start studying humans as a brand new school subject. They stepped into an elevator tube. As the door slid shut, Alex asked, "Am I in trouble?" Threll's expression softened. "No, you are in potential." The elevator hummed quietly as it moved down. "Potential for what?" Alex asked. "That is what we must find out," Threll said. The doors opened into a wide room Alex had never seen before. It looked like a simulation chamber, but bigger, darker, and filled with strange equipment. The air felt colder, like this place wasn't meant for casual lessons. Instructor Varel was already waiting inside, still gripping his datapad tightly. "Commander," I must protest. "He's a first-year student. He is not prepared for this level of testing." Threll stepped forward calmly. "He does not need to be prepared. He is the preparation." Varel sighed dramatically. "Humans confuse me. That is why they are valuable," Threll replied. Alex raised both hands. I'm right here." The instructors ignored him and activated the main control panel. Holograms flickered to life across the room, maps, star systems, unknown symbols, tactical diagrams, even a rotating hologram of the galaxy. Alex's eyes widened. "This looks advanced. Like too advanced." "It is a strategic multi-nexus," Threll explained. "Only top-level officers train here. It tests thinking under pressure. Adaptation. Creativity. The very things you displayed today." Alex swallowed. "And you want to take this test?" Varel, looking like he expected the worst, answered, "We want to see how you think." Threll nodded. This is not a pass or fail test. It is a window into your mind. Alex rubbed the back of his neck. Okay, but what do I have to do? Thorell pressed a button and the lights dimmed. You will face a series of simulations, each one designed by Academy logic. But you will approach them with human logic. We will observe. Nothing dangerous. Nothing physical. Only analysis. Alex let out a soft breath of relief. Begin simulation 1, Thorell commanded. The room shifted. Walls turned into holographic scenery, an alien outpost surrounded by rocky terrain. A red alert flashed overhead. The system voice echoed. Scenario, outpost under threat. Provide 3 defensive strategies. Alex blinked. 3 strategies? That was normal. Too normal. He asked, Is this the same question from the classroom? No, Thorell said. This time your answer is controlled. Only 3. Alex nodded. All right. He gave 3 calm, predictable answers. Logical ones. Efficient ones. Thorell nodded approvingly. Good. Now simulation 2. The scenery melted again and reformed, this time showing a damaged spacecraft floating alone between drifting asteroids. Scenario, ship stranded. Provide 3 survival solutions. Alex listed 3. They were smart, safe, unexciting. Thorell and Varel traded a long look. Commander, Varel whispered. He's being normal. Thorell frowned. Cadet Ward, why are you limiting your creativity? Alex shrugged. You told me to give 3 answers. Varel slapped his forehead. Of course. Humans follow orders but think around them. Thorell's eyes lit with understanding. Cadet Ward, he said, forget the number. Give as many solutions as your mind produces. Alex nodded. That makes more sense. The simulation shifted again. Scenario, unknown species approaching space station. Intent unclear. Alex took a deep breath and let his mind work freely. He offered 10 ideas immediately. Diplomatic plans, communication attempts, sensor tricks, environmental signals, emergency evacuation options, and even an idea involving harmless bright lights to show peaceful intentions. Varel blinked rapidly. Lights as communication? Like insects. Like humans during celebrations. Alex said. Sometimes light is friendly. Thorell smiled. Continue. Alex offered 5 more ideas. Then 3 more. Then 2 wild ones, still safe, but creative enough to make both instructors stiffen. When Alex finished, the room was silent. Varel whispered, He isn't improvising. He is exploring. Thorell nodded. His mind does not branch in straight lines. It branches like a star cluster. Alex asked quietly, Is that good? Thorell placed a hand on his shoulder. It is rare. Varel added, and alarming, but also useful. Very useful. The simulation shut down. The lights brightened again. The holograms faded. Alex rubbed his eyes. So did I pass? Thorell looked at him with the expression of someone who had just discovered something powerful and unexpected. This was not a test, he said softly. This was a beginning. Alex stared. A beginning of what? The Human Strategic Research Program. Thorell said, a new initiative. We want to study how humans think, how they plan, how they approach the unknown. You will help shape that program. Alex blinked. Me? I'm just a student. Exactly, Thorell said. That is why it must be you. Varel added reluctantly. And with guidance, you might become one of the Academy's most important thinkers. Alex felt a chill, not of fear, but of something bigger. Purpose. Thorell stepped back. Report here tomorrow. Early. The real work starts then. Alex let out a small, nervous laugh. Earlier than today? Yes. Varel groaned. Painfully early. Alex sighed. Guess I'll sleep fast then. Thorell smiled. Good. You will need the energy. As Alex left the chamber, he felt something he hadn't felt before. Not worry, not confusion, but excitement. A new path was opening. A big one. Maybe 30 of them. The Academy didn't just want to teach him. They wanted to understand him. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, Alex sensed that understanding humans might change more than classroom. It might change the future.